Okay, so here's a hack for those of you that have to utilize everything you have and make use of absolutely everything. So typically when you buy your cables going to your solar panels, you're going to get these ends here, but nothing here, because bare wires is what you're going to actually put into your solar charge controller. Well, what this is an extension cord for solar panels, and I'm going to make it work for my solar wire. I'm actually going to work 2 projects with this because I don't want to cut this off here and waste those 2 MC4 connectors. So what I'm actually going to do is cut roughly about 1 foot off. Ain't bad there. We'll go with that. Make sure it's even. Pretty close to even. Okay. Just whack them right there. Okay. So now, what I have is 2 pigtails that I will end up, well, I'll show you. They're not actually coming out of my charge controller, but same difference, really. Then, I also need about 2 feet of wire to go from my solar charge controller to my fuses for the solar panels. And that's 2 feet. And cut them off of there. Come on now. There we go. So there's my 2 feet of wire that I needed. And now, for this project, I'm done. Because what I'll do with this I will use on another project I have. It's actually going to be from my dad. And now what we have there is well, we cut 3 feet off, so now I have a 27-foot cable that will go into his solar charge controller just by stripping these ends and mounting it in there. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these pigtails in mine so that now I'll just get a full set of extension cables and get into that. And then Billy Mays would say, but wait, there's more. So you do realize doing it this way now, the red and the black are reverse. See, because what's actually going to come out of a solar panel is this here. So when I need this to go in there like that, you see, this ain't going to work. Because what I need coming out is I need exactly that. Well, I don't have that. I've got reverse of that. So this now needs to be black. This needs to be red. So we're going to fix that. And here's how we do that. Piece of shrink wrap. That red now became black. And just for the purpose of designation, since I don't have a long piece of red, we're going to put one up here by the plug. And we'll put one down here because I'll be stripping this off about to here. So, and there we go. And you know, many times the solar panels are both black anyway, but you can't screw this up because of these ends. It doesn't matter what color the wire is, really, but I do prefer mine to be right. So it'll now be right. And that's how you get around that. Utilize every single piece and every inch of wire and every connector. Don't waste anything. Absolutely nothing. That's the way we do things around here. Good evening. As you might be able to tell, it is getting dark, but I thought I'd give this a try real quick. A few people have told me, hey, look, you just need to get your first video done, and it'll be history after that. Your first one's going to turn out like junk anyway, so you may as well just do it. But yeah, I'm going to do the best I can here, guys. I need a whole lot of YouTube University on both fronts, both filming and editing. But anyway, so here we go. I thought it was kind of important to share this with other people because I know you can spend a fortune on wiring your solar system. And I just want to let you know where I got some of mine. That's a pile of 2-aught wire, single-aught wire, triple-aught wire, and believe it or not, this happens to be what's left of a range cord, a 4-prong stove that somebody threw away. And I robbed the copper wire out of it. And we'll see why here in a minute. The big piles of wire, that's solid copper wire. It is not CCA, which is what a lot of people buy off of Amazon thinking they're buying copper. You're not getting copper. Read, and you'll probably see where it says CCA. Stands for Clad Aluminum. It is aluminum wire with a copper coating on it. Kind of like when your boyfriend buys you that gold ring, and then when you get mad at him and you go to the pawn shop to find out it's worth $5, that it's a piece of stainless that's coated in gold. Well, same thing here. CCA, copper clad aluminum. It is not copper, so don't fall for it. That wire there, some of it came off of this bus right here, and a lot of it came off of Kenworth or Peterbilt. You can even see if I can get a label here. PACCAR, PACCAR. Several labels in here. Those are PACCAR labels. That is factory PACCAR cable. That is the parent company for Kenworth and Peterbilt, if you didn't know. So, my solar system is going to be made up a little bit of Kenworth, and maybe a little bit of Whirlpool, and, well, this scrap 3/4-inch plywood I got, that actually came off of a vandalized Winnebago. So we got a little bit of Winnebago, a little bit of Peterbilt, a little bit of Whirlpool or GE, and saved a bunch of money. So let's get my bucket. No, it's not what you think. Look, clean bucket. It's not used for that. It's my stool so that I can sit right here and go to work. Because I got ailments. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not very limber. And also why I put my charge controller way up there so that I can actually read it without having to bend over or turn my neck or stoop down on my back. So the charge controller is up there where I can read it, and these wires here, these black and this red, those are 6-gauge wire when I really needed 8-gauge, but I didn't want to wait on Amazon 2 days to get it, plus have to pay the $25. But yeah, that red wire comes in here out of the charge controller to the breaker, and then out of the breaker down to the positive bus bar. So that required 8 gauge. I used 6, so a little bit overkill. You may have seen in the previous section where I actually took an extension cable and cut the ends off. And I made these pigtails, and of course I had to change the colors on them because now they're reversed. But for them to have the right geometry for male-female, which now this is a complete extension which goes out the window into the panels. So that's what that is. And then here's the other 2-foot section that I cut out. That's to the charge controller, to the breaker. So I can actually shut just the solar panels off if I want to, which usually that's the last thing you turn on. Would be the first thing you shut off. So it works as an on-off switch, plus it's also got the protection of a breaker. And actually the same with this. If I just push this button, this breaker pops out, and now that is, I've shut the controller off. So the controller is protected. The solar panels are protected. There's also a 30 amp fuse in line outside right at the solar panel on the positive lead. And there's also a fuse here that goes to the inverter. One thing that's kind of rotten about using this other cable, though, there is plastic covers that go over this stuff because of I went ahead and used what I could of their connectors that was already on it too. So those connectors didn't allow me to use the plastic covers. So I need to figure something out to keep this safe. I wouldn't want somebody coming over here and touching stuff or something fall on it, which you might see this crazy loop I've got in this battery. That was actually done on purpose. If something was to fall across here, it's not going to hit the negative to the positive. It's going to do that at worst, and the wire itself will keep that from happening. So that's why that crazy loop is there. Plus I have extra slack. If I do a different battery configuration, I've got the slack to do that. And I've also got the battery termination switch to the positive bus bar. So, but yeah, guys, this is pretty much it. I did have to buy the solar components, the fuses, the breakers, the bus bars, the little 100 amp hour battery. This system was actually in my container without fuses. I just basically bolted a 1,000 watt inverter to this battery, and that was it, with these 2 big cables. There was no protection. I didn't have no solar. I would just drain the battery, and then I'd take it back to the city with me and charge it back up and bring it back. But now that I stay out here more often, I needed something that would actually recharge itself. And I had a 1,000 watt inverter with that battery, but I bought a 2,500 watt 24 volt inverter from, you guessed it, them guys right there. And I didn't open it. Well, 8 months later, I opened it up and realized, wait, this is only a 12 volt inverter. It's not a 24 volt like I ordered. So it was misboxed. Of course, being 8 months, they wouldn't do anything about it. I can't really blame them. And it was also a discontinued part. So they no longer had the 24 volt in stock and weren't going to get any more. So luckily I worked something out, and I bought another 24 volt inverter with a little bit of help. So I've got it. But now I would need to add another battery here. And I would probably just have to get 2 new batteries, because that is kind of a weird, funky battery. You notice the label on it. That's actually some college kids that made some batteries. And At the time when I bought that, I wasn't sure what I was buying, but it looked like a good deal, so I bought it. But it's actually just a portable battery. It is a lithium. It's a good battery, but it's not really intended for this type of system. So, but at any rate, guys, that's the deal. I just wanted to show you guys how you can put your own system together, and you can save quite a bit of money by sourcing wire from just anywhere you can get it. This cord here in our way, that's where I got my light plugged into the inverter. That's how we're seeing right now. But yeah, anybody can do this. You know, you see stoves, appliances, anything that's thrown away, rip the cords off, save them. Somebody's scrapping a car, a truck, a big truck, man, a bus, rob all the wire you can off of that thing. I'm also aware of a guy who goes to the scrapyard and buys his wire. He pays like double what the scrapyard gets for it, and he says it ends up saving him about 60% if he was to be buying it new. Now, granted, you're not going to go in there and get no 10-foot rolls and things like that. You're buying it in pieces and weighing it. And you're buying it by weight. But, I mean, look how short these pieces are here that I'm using. So even if he's getting 2 and 3 foot or 1 foot scraps, there's still value in it. You can still use it. This is, I believe, a 2.5 foot piece. That's a 2 foot piece, roughly. Yeah, you can put this together with just scraps. So don't be afraid to do that. You don't have to buy that cheap CCA wire from Amazon that's actually expensive. Because if you do find the real copper, you're going to pay, you might be shocked at the price. Because really, you're probably buying CCA if you're buying your wire off of Amazon. So, just saying, guys, source your stuff, use what you can save a fortune. It all adds up. And when you're on a budget, it adds up. I mean, like I said, even that plywood, it come out of a Winnebago. I think it was in the back, if I remember right. It went over the top of the water tank, and I just cut it down to what I needed. So there's a solar system, part Winnebago, part Peterbilt, part Whirlpool, but you know what? It works, and you're not going to find a much safer system. I mean, the charge controller's got its own protection built in, the inverter's got its own protection built in, the battery's got its own BMS built in to protect itself, and I still went ahead and put all these fuses and breakers in. There's 2 breakers there, there's another fuse out on the solar panels, and there's a fuse right there, and there's a shut-off there for the battery main power. And of course that all comes into a positive and a negative bus bar. So it doesn't look real pretty, and thankfully I don't have little kids around here playing with it. I mean, I'd hate for somebody to take a screwdriver and cross those 2 right there, you know. That wouldn't be too cool. What are the odds of that happening? It's slim, but I'll have to figure out a way to get that protected one way or another. But it works for now, and it's getting me by because I'm having to stay out here at the off-grid a lot more. So I can get things done, taking care of my dad, things like that. So we'll get things rocking here, and thanks for hanging out for my first ridiculous sorry-ass video. But they'll get better, I promise. I was told I had to get the first one out of the way, and it was going to be horrible. So here's my first horrible one. Wish me luck from here on out, and thanks for your patience, and stick around because I have a lot of great content. I just got to figure out how to put it together. I promise you, lots of great content. I just got to figure it out. Thanks for watching. See you soon.